Aurora thought
An
she had it
abandoned
all a
hatching
powerful
den. Through a
husband
crack in the
and
stone
8
wall,
dragon children,
I saw
but
Jude
one
take
by
my newly
one,
hatched child
her
to
babies
Elizabeth.
vanished.
Thank
Her
you.
husband,
Once this final
Jude
rescue
always said,
operation is
"Don't
complete,
worry. My
will
first
become
love,
her priestess."
Elizabeth, will save
Please
them."
thank Aurora
She
for
believed him
cooperating. She said it
until
so
she
lightly,
watched her
like my
8th
child was
child
nothing more
turn
than a
to
tool
ash.
for her
The
promotion.
horrific truth: her children were sacrificed to make Elizabeth a high-prize Tess. Her
She has
mate
lost
was
so
the
many children.
accomplice,
Of course her
betrayed
mind
and
is not right
broken.
anymore.
Aurora Awake
I
ends
kicked the
an
stone door
ancient
open
bond
and rushed
with the
inside.
Dragon
Give me
King.
back
This
my
time,
child!
she's not fighting for love. She's fighting for revenge.
Jude moved instantly. Black scales erupted across his body as he planted himself in front of Elizabeth, shielding her completely. The way he looked at me, I might as well have been filth on the floor.
Who gave you permission to follow us here?
That is my child in your arms, and you have the nerve to question me? Aurora, barging in like this will ruin the entire plan. I am only carrying out a temple mission. I have taken good care of every child. Good care? Then where are the first 7? Where exactly did you take care of them?
She showed me the children after every mission. Why do you always twist everything into something ugly?
Jude, I truly do not understand why she hates me this much. Once the trial is complete, all the children will be safe. Safe? My firstborn's last trace of spirit vanished right in front of me! He told me everything. Jude, Elizabeth has been lying to you this whole time! A flicker of discomfort crossed Jude's face. Then rage swallowed it. He raised his hand and slammed a seal down onto my forehead.
Are you done? Tonight. I am asking you for one night. Once tonight is over, we will go get the children. Why do you have to lose your mind at the last possible moment?
Go get them? They are already dead. All of them. You are the only one still swallowing her lies. The Black Dragon command seal crushed down on me. As I sank into darkness, I watched him gently pick up my child and hand him back to Elizabeth. She took the baby and sighed softly. Jude, when she behaves like this, I truly do not know what else I can do. I woke up with cold iron chains locked around my wrists. My wounds had been smeared with cheap, careless herbs. I burned through the shackles with the last scripts of my dragon fire, climbed out the window, and fled the castle. My feet carried me back to the black market warehouse from memory. I crept inside. My child was lying beside a smuggler. The dragon mark on his forehead had gone dark. The hatching flame at the tip of his tail was barely there. Fire suppressive powder covered his scales, and cold iron rings had been clamped around his tiny wings. I waited until the shift change, then crawled over and gathered him into my arms. Mama's here. Mama is taking you home.
Who is there?
He lunged forward, tore the hatchling from my arms, and slammed me to the ground. An ice scale chain wrapped around my throat. Then the warehouse door burst open with a blast of holy light. Elizabeth swept in first, with the elders behind her. Dragon Temple guards rushed in and subdued the smuggler. Jude looked down and saw me pinned to the ground, the chain still around my neck. He gave me one cold glance, then looked away and walked straight to Elizabeth's side. Oh, Aurora, you again? You keep stirring up the smugglers again and again. I know you hate me, but you cannot take it out on the entire Dragon Temple mission. Jude, the baby is dying. Jude stared down at me, his eyes full of cold fury.
You could not leave it alone, could you? Elizabeth had it under control, and you stormed in like a lunatic. Now look what you have done.
Elizabeth bent down and scooped up the hatchling. She did not call for a healer. She simply turned the child towards the elders holding their memory crystals, angling him for the best shot. Honored elders, please follow me back to the Dragon Temple to complete the return to nest ceremony. The child will be fine. Won't he, Jude? Jude nodded. He did not even look at the child again. The Blackened Lord's crushing pressure bore down on me. I was forced flat against the ground, coughing blood, completely helpless. I dragged my body forward, still battered from Jude's pressure attack, and followed the ceremonial procession toward the sanctuary. Elizabeth's parade marched ahead of me. Holy light lit the way. Elders walked on both sides of her. No one looked back. At the sacred fire pool, Elizabeth placed my child on the ritual stone. He was barely moving. The flame at the tip of his tail flickered weakly, fading, catching, then faded again. According to the rules, he had to reignite his dragon fire before Elizabeth could officially claim she had rescued him. I broke free from the Black Dragon guards and lunged forward, grabbing Jude's arm with all the strength I had left.
Judd, look at him! He is dying! Send him to the healing tower first. The ceremony can wait!
Jude shoved me off in irritation, sending me stumbling backward.
Shut up! If we stop the ceremony in front of the elders, 7 years of her trials are gone. Can you think about someone other than yourself for once?
Someone other than myself? That is our child dying up there!
He has black dragon blood. He is not that fragile. Stop screaming like some bitter, jealous woman.
The flame flared for one blinding moment. The elders murmured in admiration. But I knew that was not revival. That was his life being drained out of him. I threw myself forward like a madwoman, Jude's face twisted with fury. He seized my arm in an iron grip and dragged me back by force.
Aurora, if you ruin her future right here, I will lock you back in Cold Tower myself and make sure you never step out again.
He pinned me in place. I could only watch as the light before the sacred fire pool flickered once, then twice. Then it went out forever. I threw myself forward and snatched my child into my arms. He was cold. The dragon mark on his forehead had gone completely dark. My 8th child died in front of the sacred fire pool, killed by Elizabeth's ritual seals, killed by Jude's silence while he stood there and watched.
How did this happen? Then the others before him. Could they also?
Jude, he was born with weak blood. You knew that. The first 7 children were different. I took you to see them every time. They were healthy. They were alive. You saw them yourself. This one was just an exception. She smoothed down her robes as if nothing had happened. The priestess cord around her neck swooged in the holy light. Jude looked at her and opened his mouth. But in the end, nothing came out. When he turned back to me, that flicker of doubt was gone.
Aurora, keep your mouth shut. Not one word. Her promotion ceremony tonight will not be ruined by you.
Jude, I want to break the mate bond with you.
Are you insane? That bond was sealed by the Dragon Temple itself, so stop dreaming, Aurora. You are mine until I say otherwise.
He turned and walked out, his hand resting protectively on Elizabeth's back. The square outside was already lit for her celebration banquet. I followed them out, my dead child still cradled in my arms. Then I raised my blood-stained hand and struck the dragon bell. The toll shook the entire castle.
Jude Smith, Black Dragon Lord, handed 8 of his own children to the black market just to clear the way for Elizabeth. My children did not die by accident. They were murdered, and the 2 of you did it together!
You insane woman! Aurora has lost too many dragon heirs. Her dragon spirit is shattered. Everything she says right now is madness. Guards, lock her in Cold Tower. Put a soul-binding spell on her and shut her up!
I was dragged away. The crowd watched in silence. No one asked a single question. Behind Jude's back, where he could not see, Elizabeth gave a contemptuous smile. The iron door slammed shut behind me. The cold of Cold Tower seeped through the stone walls. I curled up in the corner, clutching my baby's frozen body. The soul-binding spell had crushed my dragon spirit so completely that I could barely move. I did not know how much time passed. Then the door creaked open. A black market smuggler who had slipped through the chaos stepped inside. He carried a scale-stripping knife, and his armor was torn from running from the dragon guards.
Your precious lord and his priestess got my men caught. They are out of reach, but you are right here.
The scale-stripping knife pressed against my heart scale. That kind of blade was to hurt dragons. It dug in along the seams of my scales, and the pain folded my whole body in half.
Jude, help me!
With the last shred of strength I had left, I pressed the mate mark on the back of my neck. I was begging Jude for help. Far away at the banquet, Jude felt his mate mark burn against his skin. He glanced down at it, his eyes cold. Elizabeth stood beside him, raising her glass as everyone toasted her success. What's wrong, Jude?
Same old trick to get my attention. Let her sit with it. I will deal with her after the banquet.
The scale-stripping knife came down. Then the iron door of Cold Tower exploded inward. A blast of golden dragon pressure ripped through the room, shattering stone and sent cracks racing across the walls. The smuggler did not even have time to scream before he was knocked unconscious. Theo Spencer strode through the blinding golden light. He saw my body soaked in blood. He saw the child in my arms, no longer breathing. Fury ignited in his golden eyes.
Aurora, I am sorry. I felt our bond awaken the moment you called for help. I should have been faster.
I stared at him, stunned. Our bond? The mate mark on my neck belonged to Jude. Take me away from here. Please, just take me away. In the dragon world, a wife is only valued for the heirs she gives her lord. 7 times I gave birth. 7 times, Black Market stole my newborn before it even cried. And every time, my husband swore his mistress Elizabeth was risking her life to save them. He called my grief a sickness.
Enough, Aurora. Elizabeth bleeds for this family. All you do is cry.
But tonight, when they took my 8th child, I followed the blood and heard the truth myself. Thank you, Jude. The first 7 babies you handed me passed all my earlier trials. Sell this one too. Let me fake another rescue and I'll finally be crowned High Priestess.
Do it. Aurora will never know.
My children were never stolen. They were bait, sold so his mistress could buy her crown. Not one was ever brought back to me. They think I'll break like always. Not this time. The golden dragon egg shattered in my arms. Before my hatchling's first cry had even faded, a dark shadow burst through the window and ripped my child away from me. My name is Aurora. I am the wife of Jude, the Black Dragon Lord. For 7 years, I gave birth to 7 children. Not one of them survived. Whenever I cried, Jude would only look annoyed.
Enough, Aurora. They are not dead. Elizabeth saved them. Stop cursing your own children. Your dragon spirit is unstable again. I will not let you scare them with your madness.
And today, this was my 8th. I did not care that I had just given birth. I stumbled out of the birthing cave and chased after them. Jude arrived quickly. He looked toward the direction where the shadow had disappeared, but there was no panic on his face.
Do not chase them.
What did you just say? Someone took our child!
It only looks like a kidnapping. The Dragon Temple arranged it. Elizabeth needs to pass her trial by rescuing kidnapped dragon heirs from the black market. The child is only bait for now. Once she earns their trust, she will bring him back.
You used our newborn child as bait? He just hatched!
Jude's face darkened with disgust.
Do not ruin this for her. The first 7 times worked exactly as planned. The children came back safe.
He said her name without hesitation. He did not even bother hiding it anymore.
I knew exactly how that woman worked. She threw my children into the black market like props, then rescued them in front of the elders and took all the glory. She is all you care about. What about our child? This is the 8th one, Jude.
Enough! Your dragon spirit is unstable right now. Felix, take her back. Without my order, she does not leave her room.
I did not wait for Felix to touch me. I shoved through the side and ran into the forest. Behind me, Jude roared, and the Black Dragon guards gave chase. I did not look back. I followed the direction they had taken my child and ran east, through broken brush and the sharp stench of fire suppressant powder. Halfway there, a faint but familiar trace of bloodline energy drifted over from a side path. It was not living dragon fire. It was a remnant spirit, cold and flickering like smoke. It was my firstborn. I would know him anywhere. I turned down the side path and pushed through dead vines into an abandoned holding pen. The iron cage was empty. Nothing was left but dried bloodstains and rusted scale shackles.
Mom? My baby. Is it really you?
I rushed forward to hold him, but my hands passed straight through the light. The light pressed softly into my palm.
Auntie Elizabeth said we were only props. Every time, she told Dad we had been rescued and were safe somewhere else. Dad believed her. He never came to see us. Not once.
You waited for me all this time?
The tiny light trembled and turned toward the hatching pit beside us. 6 empty eggshells were stacked there, all of them shattered.
Brothers and sisters waited too, but they could not hold on until you came.
My baby, I am sorry. I am so sorry. I could not protect any of you.
Don't cry, Mum. I just wanted to see you once.
The last trace of golden light dimmed and went out. The cage fell into complete darkness. I reached out, desperate to hold on to him, but there was nothing left. I lay beside that cage and cried until I had no strength left. My legs were bleeding. Just before dawn, I dragged my broken body back to the castle. Judd was waiting for me in the main hall. He looked at me, covered in blood, and only frowned.
Where the hell did you go? The guards searched half the night. You are getting more impossible every day.
I went to the black market pens. My firstborn spirit is still there. It has not scattered yet. Do you know what he told me? Every child Elizabeth showed you was fake.
Shut up!
His spirit is still there. He told me himself that you never came to see them. Not once.
I said, shut your mouth! Elizabeth placed the children somewhere safe after every trial. How dare you call her a liar? Look at yourself. Your dragon spirit is shattered, and now you are seeing things.
I was not seeing things. Those children she showed you, did you ever touch them? Did you ever hold them? She let you glimpse someone else's hatchlings from a distance, and you believed every word. Jude's expression twisted, not with doubt, but with fury.
Aurora, one more word and you will ruin Elizabeth's name. She took a curse for me. She can never have dragon heirs of her own. All she is doing is using your children to complete a temple mission. Once her trial is over, we will bring them home. You already hold the title of Lady of this territory. Do you have any idea what you owe her?
He stepped closer and lowered his voice in warning.
Tonight is her final assessment. Keep your madness and jealousy under control. Once she passes, we will go pick up the children. Stop this nonsense!